This is WSLS 10, Virginia Today at 5.
Flash flooding, a big concern in downtown Roanoke and across the Commonwealth, the community that faces the greatest risk, and how Virginia lawmakers are hoping to address the problem.
Protest and peace, not guns, not drugs, not alcohol, not violence.
Calling for peace, the memorials and funerals taking place to honor those killed by law enforcement and what one victim's family is saying about the unrest. Good morning, happy Thursday. Thanks for starting your day with us here on Virginia Today on WSLS 10. I'm Patrick McKee.
And I'm Erin Brookshire. Jenna has the morning off, and it is going to be a hot day in Southwest Virginia. We've seen a few really warm ones in a row.
We certainly have, and it's caused some of those thunderstorms to pop up for us. Not seeing those this morning as we look live over the Roanoke Valley, but likely to be seeing a little bit of fog around here as we start off the day. For more on if that rain returns again this afternoon, we'll get over to Christina in the Weather Center. Christina, good morning to you.
Good morning. Yes, that unsettled weather pattern will continue for us, waking up with those muggy conditions again. Some fog to deal with this morning, but no rain showers there. We are looking at the low 70s at 7 this morning, mid 80s by noon, lower to middle 90s this afternoon around 4 with some of those scattered showers and thunderstorms developing. It will be a very hot day, and with the humidity, it will feel about 5 degrees warmer. No rain showers on the radar right now. Everything has fizzled out of here. In those overnight hours, we lost some of that daytime heat. Still very warm though. As you step out the door, it is muggy, it's humid. Temperatures are in the middle 60s to upper 60s in the New River Valley. Upper 60s to lower 70s through the Highlands, Roanoke, Lynchburg, and South Side. Coming up at 5:10, I will let you know when the showers and thunderstorms start to develop today. We will talk about that severe weather potential, and of course, we'll have your 7-day outlook as well. Checking in with our time saver traffic system, we do have that fog mainly in the Lynchburg and South Side area. Going down 220 and 360 through Martinsville, you are looking at about a half of a mile of visibility, very low there. Dense fog in South Boston as well, just under a mile of visibility down 501 and 360 going through Halifax County around the South Boston area, and then heading north just south of Lynchburg, right along 460 through Forest, and right along 24 heading into areas around Yellow Branch. And you were looking at that dense fog until about 9:30 this morning. Patrick?
Thanks, Christina. It's 5:02 now, and new this morning, flooding, a big concern across the Commonwealth. It's especially been an issue in downtown Roanoke. Another summer thunderstorm on Tuesday flooded streets and several buildings, and it even led to a few swiftwater rescues. This was the second storm in the last 2 months to send water down city streets, and that's why Virginia lawmakers say flooding concerns could be a big policy discussion during the 2017 General Assembly session. Virginia lawmakers are seeking federal funds to study the flooding threat in different regions. Leaders say the Atlantic coast faces the greatest threat of sea level rise, while flooding in general is an issue for many Virginia communities.
Flooding just doesn't occur along the coast, and that we need to, as a state, be very much aware that it can be a threat throughout our state and not just along the coastal areas.
Norfolk recently earned more than $100 million from the federal government to reduce the risk of flooding. This has been an area of particular concern because it's where the largest naval base in the world is located.
We're learning new details about a Virginia man who was seriously hurt after an explosion in New York City. Friends of Connor Golden started an online fundraiser to help with medical costs. The GoFundMe campaign has raised more than $47,000 so far. The college student was in Central Park on July 3rd with some friends when he got hurt. Investigators say he stepped on a rock covering a homemade explosive and lost his lower leg and foot. Police don't believe the device was meant to hurt anyone.
New this morning, U.S. safety officials are trying to pass new regulations to prevent fiery train derailments like the one we saw in Lynchburg in April of 2014. When the CSX train derailed, a large fire broke out, forcing evacuations. 3 cars ended up in the James River, along with nearly 30,000 gallons of crude oil. The derailment caused by a broken rail. The proposed regulations will require railroads hauling crude oil to develop plans for dealing with the significant oil spill. The proposal also includes a testing method to determine the volatility of oil shipments. At least 27 trains have derailed in the U.S. and Canada in the last decade carrying oil.
Closing arguments are scheduled to begin today in the trial of the 4th Baltimore police officer charged in the death of Freddie Gray. Lieutenant Bryant Rice is the highest-ranking officer charged in the case. He's facing manslaughter, reckless endangerment, and misconduct charges. Gray died in April of 2015, a week after he suffered a spinal injury while he was handcuffed and shackled but left unrestrained in a police van. Rice is the 4th of 6 officers to stand trial in Gray's death. 2 were acquitted and proceedings for another ended in a mistrial.
Family and friends will attend the funeral of Philando Castile today in Minnesota. Castile was shot and killed by a police officer during a traffic stop last week. His fiancée documented the entire thing on Facebook Live. A vigil was held in Chicago last night to mark the 1-year anniversary of the death of Sandra Bland. Bland was found hanging in her cell 3 days after a traffic stop. Both deaths provoked national outrage.
There should be no more arguments, disagreements, violence, crimes. Everyone should come together as one united family.
The son of Alton Sterling, the man killed by police in Louisiana, called for peaceful demonstrations. The president also discussing ways to improve police and community relations. We'll have more on the meeting that took place in Washington coming up after 5:30.